that is slowly creeping up on the generation ahead of us. According to the Parkinson's Foundation, which has raised over $30 million for Parkinson's research, 1 million people live in the U.S. with Parkinson's disease, and this number is projected to reach 1.2 million by 2030. These numbers are steadily rising and will be seen more frequently in our future. I've seen the detrimental effects of this disease firsthand from my grandmother, who was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease about 10 years ago. Parkinson's disease is a complex disease with intricate symptoms, physiological causes, and treatments. So, first up, what even is Parkinson's disease? Parkinson's disease is a degenerative neurological disease that affects the nerves, and it's in the dementia family. Since it is a degenerative disease, it gets worse with time. So as you can see here, whenever people are first diagnosed, their posture is still good, they're still getting around and going about their normal day-to-day life. And then as they progress, their posture starts to worsen, and then they start relying on canes, walkers, and then eventually they are wheelchair bound as they lose all of their motor function. So, symptoms of Parkinson's disease. Motor symptoms can include stiffness, bradykinesia, which is slow movement, and persistent tremors. And mental health symptoms can include anxiety, depression, hallucinations, paranoia, and just lack of motivation overall. All of these symptoms actually present themselves in very different ways. The well-known actor and founder of the Michael J. Fox Foundation, Michael J. Fox, discussed the first symptom that showed up for him by saying that he was filming a movie called Doc Hollywood whenever he first noticed a tremor in his pinky finger. However, my grandmother was diagnosed after one of her coworkers noticed that she didn't swing both of her arms at the same rate of speed as she walked across the office. This difference in presentation leads to people being misdiagnosed and just completely missing their disease very frequently. So here is an example of a person trying to move around with Parkinson's disease.
My name's David Dillow, and I'm from Glen, Virginia. I have Parkinson's disease. That's what I'm diagnosed as. And part of that is the tremors. Started out in the right hand, and that's the worst because that's primarily when I am right-handed.
So as you can see with David, he has his hands are shaking, obviously his legs are shaking, and even his voice is shaking. It is hard for him to get words out, and it takes him a minute to fully remember words that he's trying to say, which are all very common with Parkinson's disease. So, what causes Parkinson's disease? Parkinson's disease is caused by a degeneration of the nerve cells in the part of the brain called the basal ganglia. This part is really important for dopamine, creating dopamine, which helps electrical signals move throughout the whole body from the brain. That is what allows us to move. Without this dopamine, movement becomes very erratic, obviously. So diagnosis is typically made from an assessment of symptoms, also a physical exam, and you can also just start Parkinson's medications and see if it helps your symptoms, and if it does, then that can lead to a diagnosis. Treatments. There's no cure, but you can treat the symptoms. It is not a terminal disease, but it does shorten a person's life expectancy. You can take medications to increase dopamine in the brain. You can do surgery, but it is not an option for most people. And you can also do physical therapy to improve and preserve motor function. And in conclusion, Parkinson's disease is a neurological disease that affects the motor skills, and it is treated by medication most of the time. Awareness is the most efficient way to protect yourself and to be proactive. So keep this information in the back of your head as you and the people around you age.